Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about rational zeros theorem. So you're going to need your notes, a calculator, and a pen or pencil, please. All right. We have to figure out what happens when you are not given a factor hint of a polynomial like in yesterday's assignment. So what will we do? Our goal for today is to find a way to solve polynomials that cannot be factored. So that brings us to our learning target today, you guys. Our learning target is I can use the rational zeros theorem to find a possible solutions to a polynomial that cannot be factored. So if you want to get that down, that'd be wonderful. All right, after that, the rest of these slides need to be written down in your notes, please. So here we go. We need to write this one down. We need to find that hint that I gave you the other day and become very good educated guessers. So we're going to use the rational zeros theorem. Every rational zero solution has a form, P over Q. So that's what we're going to be using. P is the factors of the constant, so that's the end number. Q is the factors of the leading coefficient, so that's that very first number, and this only happens when it's in standard form. So please make sure you get all of this down. It's going to be very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. All right, little vocab check. We're going to be talking about real numbers. That's rational and irrational. And then we're going to not use imaginary numbers today, but they will be coming up, I promise. So please make sure you get this all down. We're going to do two examples together. Here's our first example that we need to get written down. And first thing we have to do is find all our real zeros. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the factors of our end and the beginning. So I'm going to have that P over Q, where P is the constant at the end. So this is my P, so I'm going to have 8 on the top. My Q is the number in the beginning, that leading coefficient. That's going here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to list all the factors of both. So of 8, I'm going to have 1 times 8. And then I'd have 2 times 4. And 3 doesn't work, so those are all my factors of 8. Now I have to list my factors of 2, which are just 1 and 2. And now to complete my possible list, I am going to go through and take one over the other. So my possible list here, I'm going to have 1 divided by 1, which is just 1. 2 divided by 1, which is 2. Oh, sorry, and it has to be positive and negative. So I'm going to have 1, negative 1. 2, negative 2. 4 divided by 1 is 4, so I'd have 4 and negative 4. 8 divided by 1 is 8 and negative 8. Now I have to go through, I finished my 1s, now I have to divide by 2. So I have 1 divided by 2, which is 1/2, or negative 1/2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, which I already have. 4 divided by 2 is 2, which I already have, and 8 divided by 2 is 4, which I already have. So this is my total possible. Now this is a lot to write, so to shorten this up, you guys, I'm going to let you write it like this. You can put plus or minus, make a little bracket, and you can just do 1, 2, 4, 8, and 1/2. Okay, and with that plus or minus in front, it lets us know that these numbers can be positive or negative. Now, once we get these, you guys, it's a guessing game. We're going to use synthetic substitution to see which one will work. So here's my possible list. It's still up there. We're going to work on the same example as we were doing before. Now I have to use synthetic substitution. I'm going to be guessing to find a possible solution that works so that I can factor this out. So I'm guessing, and I'm going to guess x is going to equal negative 2. So I'm going to plug it into my synthetic division, substitution, and I'm going to get x cubed, x squared, x, and no x. Fill in what I know. This is a 2, negative 5, negative 14, 8. Now I'm going to put it all together. I'm going to drop down that 2, so then I'm going to have negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4. then I'm going to get negative 9. When I add those together, negative 2 times negative 9 is a positive 18. Negative 14 plus 18 is 4. Negative 2 times 4 is a negative 8. Now, this is how I know it works. If it's going to be a 0 actual solution, this is going to end up to be 0. This is what I want. It has to be 0 at the end in order for it to be a 0 or a solution. Okay? Once we get here, we are going to rewrite this. So I'm going to have 2x squared, because I'm going to do one less than this, minus 9x plus 4. That's in factored form, so now I can factor this out because I have a square. My other one is going to be this one right here, so I'm going to put that in front. It's in factored form, it's going to be x plus 2 because it's the opposite, all right? Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to factor this. So I'm only factoring this part right here. So I have to use my AC method. So I'm going to take A times C has to add up to B. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 factors that add up to negative 9. My 2 factors for that are negative 8 and negative 1. So I'm going to rewrite this problem. I'm going to get 2x squared minus 8x minus 1x plus 4. Then I'm just going to go into my grouping. My first one, I can take out a 2x, so put that out in front. I'm left with x minus 4. My second one, I can take out a negative 1, so that's going to go out in front. I'm going to have x minus 4. When these are the same, I can write them out, so I have x minus 4, and my leftovers, 2x minus 1. Now, this right here, the one I used at the beginning, the one I put down here, that's like that super annoying brother or sister, we can't forget about it. We have to bring it along, so I have x plus 2. These are my factors. I want my zeros or my solution or what my x-intercepts are. All of those names mean the same thing, so I have to set them equal to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0, x minus 4 equals 0, and 2x minus 1 equals 0. So I get x equals negative 2, x equals 4. This one I would add 1, 2x equals 1, divide by 2, x equals 1/2. These are my 3 solutions, and I know I'm going to have 3 solutions because my problem had an exponent of 3. Okay? Alright, moving on. Make sure you get all of this down, you guys. This was all the first example. Now here comes example number 2. First thing we're going to do is we're going to find all of our zeros, all of our possible zeros. So we're going to do our P over our Q. So my P here is 9, so it's going to be 9 over my Q is 2. Write out my factors of 9. I have 1 times 9, and then 3 times 3. Those are all my factors. Factors of 2 is just 1 times 2. Now I'm going to write out my whole list. So I'm going to have 1 divided by 1, which is 1, or negative 1. And then I could have 3 or negative 3, and then I could have 9 or negative 9. So now I'm done with my 1s. Now I'm going to do my 2. 1 divided by 2, 1/2 or negative 1/2. 3 divided by 2 is 3/2 or negative 3/2. And 9 divided by 2 is 9/2 or negative 9/2. Okay, those are all my possible solutions. Remember, we can shorten this out. You can write it like this, you guys. Plus or minus 1, 3, 9, 1/2, 3/2, 9/2. Just remember that they can be positive or negative. Okay? All right, moving on. Once we get our list of all of our possible zeros, now we have to simplify it so that we can factor it. So we're going through that guessing game, you guys. Any of these that are possible could work. We're just going to try to find one that does. So if we go through these lists, and I've tried a few, now I've found one that works. I tried one, it didn't work. Negative 1 does work, so I'm going to plug that in. X equals negative 1. I have x cubed, x squared, x, no x. Plug in what I know. I know in front of my x cubed I have a 2. In front of my x squared I have a negative 7. I have no x, so I have to put a 0. And then my no x is 9. So that first one I'm just going to drop down. So I have my 2. Once I get here, I'm going to take negative 1 times 2, and I get negative 2. Then I'm going to get negative 9. Negative 9 times 1 is a positive 9. Add these together, I get 9. 9 times negative 1 is negative 9, and I get 0. I have to get 0 here, okay? That's what I want, because I have to rewrite this. So I am going to rewrite this, since this was cubed. It's going to be 2x squared minus 9x plus 9. That's what I'm going to be factoring. The factor or the 0 that I found that worked was right here, that x equals negative 1. So if I write that as a factor, it's going to be the opposite. So it's going to be x plus 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and factor this right here. So I'm going to do AC method. I'm going to do A times C has to add up to B. So 2 times 9 is 18. Two numbers that multiply to equal 18 and add up to negative 9. We're going to use negative 6 and negative 3. These are going to replace this negative 9. So when I come over here and do this one, I'm going to have 2x squared minus 6x minus 3x plus 9. Going to do my grouping method. Separate these, take out those greatest common factors. Here I can take out a 2x. So I get 2x, and I'm left with x minus 3. This one I can take out a negative 3. So I get negative 3 out here, and then x minus 3. Make sure that these are the same, because that's our key. If those are the same, I can write out my factors. So I have x minus 3, and my leftovers here. So I'm going to have 2x minus 3. Can't forget about that little super annoying brother or sister right out in front here, that x plus 1 has to go in here. Okay? Once we get here, we have our factors. Now I want to find our zeros or solutions or x-intercepts, whatever you want to call them. All those three names mean the same thing. So we're going to set all of these three to 0. So I have x plus 1 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, 2x minus 3 equals 0. So I'm going to get x equals negative 1. That's the one we used. I'm going to get x equals 3. And this one I'm going to solve. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. 2x equals 3 divided by 2. So x equals 3 over 2. That's my last 0 solution. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is all I have for you today. So I hope you go out and have an amazing day. And I will be seeing you soon. Bye.